The following is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of the Horicon School District and the City of Horicon, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands. Welcome into Taking Care of Business today, Marsh Talk, where we sit down with, typically Rich Apple and Josh Mons to talk about what's going on the Sit Down the Marsh and everything happening within the school district. This will be our last show with you, Rich.
It is. Yep. Last one of the year, but last one for me forever, I think. So,
yeah, well, unless they bring you back for like a special guest or something.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they'll probably want to do that.
No.
Now that you said that, we're going to do it for sure.
Yeah. Well, we may have to bring you back on when we bring the kids back on to talk about that trip that you guys have planned.
Yeah.
And we'll be touching on that here in a little bit. But as always, we kind of like to start off the show talking about why it's important that you guys do this show and that you're doing what you do here. So if you guys want to give us a little recap as to why this is an important thing for you.
Well, we just feel so strongly about our community and our school district and what the city business is. And so many people have questions and may wonder what's going on. And I know that oftentimes they like to go to Facebook and think that that's where the answers are at. But really, we try to give them through this opportunity and make ourselves available to try and touch on the topics that people are asking about.
And I appreciate the fact that you guys come on and do this show together, because if there's one thing I've learned about Horicon in the time I've been on the show with you guys, there is a very meshed together, symbiotic relationship between the school district and the city of Horicon.
Yeah, very much. We work well. What benefits the community benefits the school and vice versa.
I like it. Let's go ahead and dive into a few of the things that you've got on the list here for the school district. This one's a big one. I know it's coming up here in, about a week and a half now? 12 days? Commencement.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. We do it on Sword Field, 1 o'clock on Saturday the 17th. The kids reminded me today that there's 10 days left of classes. They're excited. We're excited for them. And so graduation will take place on that Saturday. Hopefully weather will cooperate. If it doesn't, we'll move it inside to the gym.
Now, you in the past, I guess, have been kind of known for your commencement speeches. Do you
I always have a theme.
Do you have yours figured out?
Yes.
Okay.
I do, but I got to keep it kind of close hold.
Okay.
But, yeah, the kids have kind of given me some pointers on a few things that are important. So, yeah, I got her. We'll be ready. I got to kind of keep it a little bit shorter. We have 5 foreign exchange students this year going to be talking. So,
oh, wow.
And we try to keep it to about an hour.
I just got a note from my producer asking if we were opening the phones. We're not doing that right now. So to keep it to about an hour for your speech alone?
No.
Okay, altogether.
No, for the whole ceremony. So we try to. It gets a little warm down on the field, and they didn't come there to hear me just talk. So I'll get my point across in short order.
Now, how big is the graduating class in Horicon this year?
I believe that we have 65 that are going to be going through the ceremony somewhere in there.
Not bad. And I see a note on here as well as senior interviews. This is something you kind of like to do.
Every year in a small district, I'm able to do this. I have an interview with every senior, an exit interview. And I go through and I ask them just a few questions. I ask, when did they arrive in Horicon? For many, they're 4K kindergarten kind of startups, but others, they start up later, in their journey. And then I ask them, what's a highlight, what's a memory they're going to talk about at their 20-year class reunion. I ask what they would give me for advice if there was one thing that they would like to see that would improve our school district as far as from kids' perspective. I ask them for key individuals and adults that impacted them through their schooling, and then where they're going in the future. What am I going to see them do in 5-10 years from now? So it's just a conversation with them, but they give me some pretty good insight as to how we can keep improving our school.
Now, of course, as everybody knows, this isn't fresh news, but this is your final year as superintendent of the school district. The new successor for your position, Katie Schwartz, has already been chosen. Mm-hmm. Is she sitting in on these senior interviews with you?
No, but I'll share the information with her. I usually give a report to my school board too. The pushing one this year is come springtime, our parking lot gets really packed, because sophomores get their licenses and they start driving, so seniors run out of space, and then they're usually my latest arrivers, so then they can't find a parking spot. So,
they know know exactly when the bell goes off, don't they?
Yeah. So that's probably the number one thing going on. And if that's my biggest issue, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll say that's pretty minor. Tell them to start carpooling, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Recently, prom happened.
Yeah, it went really well out at Horicon Hills, the golf course. We really appreciate they provide so many opportunities for our kids through golf or through prom or different things at the golf course. But it went really, really well. Weather was cooperating. We had the grand march at the school beforehand, and then kids went out to the dance. So it was excellent.
I'm showing my Wisconsin here, but when I first saw the notes on here and saw the theme, I said, why would you do Rio as a theme?
No, not Rio. No, the old Rio thing. Yeah.
There you go. Track and field, they had a cleanup project recently.
On Earth Day, we partner with the Lions Club, so our kids go out and they'll do about an hour and a half pickup out at the by the landfill, and then the Lions Club ends up giving a little bit of a donation back to the kids and through the program. So it was a great day. Usually it rains on us. This year it was really nice.
Wonderful. I always appreciate when it doesn't rain on Earth Day. I want to talk about this a little bit more because this is the project we kind of alluded to earlier where maybe we'll have to bring you back when we talk about this. You guys have the Hug It Forward service project. You guys are taking a trip to Guatemala this summer. We
leave June 19th. There's 17 students and a total of 22 going for 5 adults. Fly into Guatemala City, and we do a service project there for a week, working on a school. These are usually 1, 2, 3 room schoolhouses that they put together, and they use recycled materials to put them together. And our kids are going down there to kind of get a good experience doing something for others. And this service project's going to be with a group called Hug It Forward, and it's Serve the World is the group. So we're partnering with them. They'll pick us up at the airport and take care of us for a week. It's going to be great. And the donations that we've received for this has been amazing to really help fund the kids fundraised for their own travel. They have to pay for the actual stay down there, their hotel, their lodging, and food and things like that. That's already been taken care of through this group. But their flight and the charter bus and the travel insurance, we were able to raise enough money to cover that. So that's fantastic. I appreciate everybody who supported it.
That's awesome. Now, if somebody does still want to donate to this project, or maybe for future years' projects, is that still possible?
Yeah, and it could be, but we're looking to do this like every 3 years. Okay. So tell them to hold off for now. There'll be plenty of time to hit them up for that. Somebody else might be organizing that in the future.
There we go. Sounds good. Some upcoming special days we wanted to highlight here. Feel free to run through those.
Yes, on May 12th, we're taking our seniors out to support the American Legion. And I'm going to be driving a bus of kids out to 5 cemeteries to lay flags on the tombs, the grave sites of all of the veterans that have markers out there that have served. So we partner with the American Legion to do that, and then Pat and the Legion folks are going to be giving the kids a hot dog and some lemonade afterwards back at the Legion. That'll be taking place on the morning of the 12th. We have 13th is our high school art show and 5th grade through 12th grade band and choir concert in our high school gym. I encourage a lot of people to come see that. We have such amazing talent, both in all the arts, but those that can draw, paint, create things, and then those that can really perform and bring that music and the arts through their singing or their playing. On the 15th, Thursday the 15th, is our final Marshman Coffee. It's at 8:30 in the morning in the boardroom at the district office. To please come on in and enjoy some conversation. This year at this time we'll be having our kindergarten kids will come in and they will they're going to read a book that they've authored. It's a few pages long with some illustrations that they do. And then we'll highlight a few of our seniors. So we're going to really focus on some of our youngest students and then some of our oldest ones as they depart. So that'll be on the 15th. This coming Friday, we have the elementary fun run. We were supposed to have it last Friday, but the weather didn't cooperate. So on the 9th, we're doing the fun run on Sword Field, where our elementary kids have been raising money, and we've had a lot of donors for those kids to run around the field. And it's the weather looks like right now it's going to be perfect. So we're excited about that. On the 16th is our PTO Carnival. Again, our PTO does so much. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, which I was going to get to next. And our teachers are just folks that go into teaching. they have a passion for taking care of kids and wanting to really prepare them for the future. So to all of our teachers and everybody who works with kids, they're all teachers. Thank you, and we appreciate them. But our PTO has really put together a whole week worth of days of celebrating our kids. So if there's anybody out there that wants to send something and do an appreciation, send it to the school, a thank you, an email, a post, anything out there. Our staff really does appreciate being recognized. But our PTO has a carnival coming up on the 16th that will be outside of the school. And then our last day of school with all students will be on the 23rd. We have an early release that day. And then we start up with summer school on June 2nd already. So that's all really going to be happening fast and furious here in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
I want to say the end of the year always seems to be filled with a lot of events, a lot of things wrapping up, be it for sports or academic clubs, groups, things like that. So it makes for a busy month.
Always is, yeah. Some other things that are happening, we have obviously our spring sports are going on with our golf team. They're off at a meet today. Baseball, softball's going on. This week looks like it's going to be fairly dry and warm, which is much appreciated. Track meets that are happening. Our trap shooters that are doing clay pigeon shoots for Horicon. They're all just doing a fantastic job for us and representing us well. Very competitive teams. Our state solo ensemble and our forensics, our kids did well there. A lot of ones and 1 stars. So again, our kids are out there competing and enjoying it and really performing and representing us extremely well. A couple of things that are happening in the community that we're involved with. Our senior recreation program that we've been working with that falls under the rec program, city rec program, is really kind of rebranding and regrouping a little bit. And it's exciting to see how this is going to transform. There's going to be regular meetings that will be taking place at the pavilion in Horicon, down by Disher Park area. And those will be taking place. There's going to be lots of posts. So people be looking both on the city rec, on the school, on the city site for all the different events and the calendar that will be taking place with that. I appreciate the folks that are kind of giving some information on that to make that a better and stronger program. And then our Marsh Area Chamber of Commerce on June 3rd is having their chamber golf outing. So go to the website and register. That's taking place. The registration will happen, and I think the tee off is at 10 o'clock. So so many things that are happening out there in our community that Josh will also kind of probably talk about, but I just wanted to make sure that was out there for folks to know about.
All right, wonderful. And I want to remind everybody, of course, and I see the note on here, I'm going to mention it again. If you're a fan of those coffees that the school district puts on, last one for the season is May 15th, and that's the last one with you.
Yes.
So they're definitely going to want to check that out. I want to jump back a little bit here because a good idea to kind of recap, because obviously, as we've discussed, again, the news is out there. This is your final year as superintendent of the Horicon School District. And for people who don't know, you didn't just, drop out of the air and find yourself serving in that role. You've had quite a bit of experience leading up to, had quite a, I don't know if the word illustrious may be the right term to use, but you've had a fairly storied career.
It's been a great journey, yeah.
And a lot of experience there. Why don't you go ahead and give us a quick recap of kind of what took you on your journey to get here?
Sure. It's been 37 years. So I started teaching back in 1988 and down in Tipton, Iowa. I graduated from the University of Iowa, and I started teaching and coaching in a wonderful small town, Tipton, and coached football, baseball, some middle school basketball, and girls golf, which was probably the most interesting, challenging of my coaching career. And then I finished my master's degree program at the University of Iowa, was looking for a principalship. I really wanted to get into administration. My dad had been in education for 37 years as well. And I just really wanted to get involved with the leadership. At the time, I was a lieutenant in the Army, and was enlisted in the Army in 1986. So kind of had a career path of leadership that was tied to that. And so I found a job in Chilton, Wisconsin. And in 1995, I moved there to be the elementary principal and was there for 12 years, special ed director, transportation guy. You'd get to wear a lot of different hats there. And then after the 12 years, then I had an opportunity to move over to the middle school. And so I went to Chilton Middle School for 9 years and enjoyed that opportunity as well. And then after that, I found a calling that I really wanted to take the one more step up and be a superintendent. And so looked around and had a few interviews here or there, and I found Horicon's opportunity, and it has been a great 9 years in Horicon.
Now, before we highlight some of the stuff you've done within the Horicon School District and throughout your career that you might be proud of, is it a coincidence that your father was in education for 37 years and this is the 37th year you're choosing to retire?
Kind of. I didn't match it exactly with him, but it's kind of unique that it was both 37.
Now, is there another apple in the lineage who's taking up education?
I've got a nephew in Nebraska that's a teacher there, and he's got his administrative degree. So he has not made that jump yet, but Dane may be the next one to go. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, wonderful. Now, you got a list of career highlights here, and I mean, some of them are definitely related to what you've done here in Horicon. Some of them are what you've done across the board at the schools you've worked with and taught at. Do you want to run through a few of those?
Sure. I think in Horicon, I think the things that really will jump out as being some of my highlights, the things that I will always remember, will be the referendum getting the school buildings, having our campus updated, remodel of the high school, new elementary school, and then to put the cherry on top is to get that athletic complex, to raise those dollars to make that happen. That was just both professionally and personally probably one of the most exciting times of to be able to be a part of and help lead to get that done.
And no small undertaking for the school district in general.
It was, I think at times there were people who thought I was a little crazy. So from there, we've been able to build some things in Horicon, and when I say we, I have an amazing administrative team to bring in staff that really fit that culture, that really wants to be a part of a positive environment, that works and cares for kids, that will work hard, work together, and we've been able to do that. And it's reflected on the last 2 years. We've been selected as a top 100 workplace in southeast Wisconsin. Proud of that, because in this day and age, there's a lot of schools that are struggling to keep their staff. Turnover's bad, morale's maybe not the best. And so to be able to have a staff that really wants to be there and is excited about being there, I'm really proud of that. We've just been able to, when I reflect back on our school board as an example, we have 7-member school board that have been so supportive of us. But in the 9 years I've been here, not one of them have had to run opposed, because there has not been, they've always run unopposed on the election, which is a sign, in my opinion, is a sign that people are pleased with the direction that they're going, so they didn't feel the need that they need to challenge somebody's position. So our board has been so very supportive. Couple things that I guess I look back and are kind of unique to what I did. When in Chilton, I was able to I started up the elementary musicals there. And so we did elementary musicals that continue to this day to get well over 100 kids out for a musical at the elementary school. When I moved to the middle school, I said, let's try it here too. Let's see if we can get kids to come out. And so I started up there when I was middle school principal, and my largest show that I ever directed I had to have a lot of other assistant directors and co-directors, but we had 175 kids in the Beauty and the Beast for middle school kids. So if you can imagine 175 kids on a stage doing the Beauty and the Beast show, it was amazing. But
I imagine a lot of them being the household
I was
items.
gonna say a lot of dishes. And
dishes and forks, and yeah, it was just so much fun. So I'm really proud of that, because those things continue on in Chilton, of something that I was able to kind of help get started. Great opportunities to be able to lead both in the military. I retired in 2010. I had 24 years in the military, retired there. But I also was able to lead in different associations in the State Music Association, Wisconsin School Music Association. I was president for 2 years for the Wisconsin State Association of School Administrators. I was president of that. Both opportunities just to lead with other professionals and be a part of some decision making and some direction, but to support other schools and other leaders. So all of those I reflect on as being, great moments, I guess, in my career. So coaching kids that I coached football and baseball were my two primary coaches positions, and never made it to state as a coach in baseball, but I did in football a couple of times, one in Iowa and one in Chilton. And so, those players got to see me as a different person, not just as an administrator. I still got guys in Iowa who call me coach, but they're 56 years old, because I was 22 and they were 18.
Right.
So that's kind of an odd thing, where some of them are retired before me. But all of those things, I just remember back and think of kids and being a part of their accomplishments and some of the successes we've had within the district. And both my wife and I are retiring and leaving on a good note. She's had just an amazing career, 31 years. She's leaving Mayville, and I'm going to step out from Horicon, and we're going to go travel the world and volunteer at different places. I'm still on a lot of boards around here. I'm on the Dodge County YMCA board. I'm on the Hospital Foundation board and the affiliation committee from there. I'm on our foundation board in Horicon. So we're still going to be giving back, and Tammy's she's on the United Way of Dodge County board. So we're going to be involved, and we're going to be active in doing things in the community, and a lot more volunteering, but not as much time worrying about the weather and just snow decisions, or, I worry for our kids. I worry for my staff. And so hopefully I can pass that worry on to Katie, and we can just do the fun stuff. So
I still imagine that there will be a winter day where you wake up, look outside, and go, I'd have called it off today.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll be second guessing from the living room, and Tammy and I will be not worrying about it so much. But no, we're both really excited about just spending time together and going golfing and doing those things that I think everybody hopes to be able to do once they reach that retirement.
There you go. Well, as we've hit the halfway point in the show, I do want to take a moment to remind everybody again, this is a paid program, and advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of the Horicon School District and City of Horicon, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands. And now's the time of the show where we kind of shift things over a little bit and start talking a little bit about what's going on the city side of things. And, of course, for that, we're going to turn to Mayor Josh Moss. You're always so patient here when we let Rich just go and talk and talk and talk. But we'll open this up as your window to start talking about some of the great things going on in the city. Do we want to start by touching on the golf outing?
We can talk about that. I think there's a couple of golf outings, but first I want to say congratulations to WBEV, who won the Station of the Year for about the 100th year in a row. It's well-deserved. I know it was tight this year, and Rich and I put you guys over the top.
I was thinking there would be, like, the Talk of the Marsh should have been a story that would have gotten you guys a big award.
I guess it didn't quite. Maybe there's not a category that for this kind of show yet, but we'll work on it. Okay.
We're our own category. So congratulations, and congrats to Rich, too, for all you've done in Horicon. And, all these things that I'm going to talk about, all this fun stuff we're doing in Horicon, Horicon would have never turned that corner without that new school and that athletic complex. People want to move there because we have a blue ribbon school. We have a new school building. We have, in my eyes, the best athletic complex in the county. You know, us, Waupun, Beaver Dam, we all have really good ones. But ours, for a school our size, is second to none anywhere.
It's very broadcaster friendly. I appreciate that.
Yes, and, you know, we would never be where we are as a city without the school district, the school board, Rich, Katie, Mike, T, and everyone up there in administration. I mean, it makes a huge difference, and it's a lot easier to be a mayor when you have a city that people want to come to. So thank you both for that. Okay, with the golf outings, we have a couple coming up. We have one in a few weeks, which is the chambers. So the Marsh Area Chamber of Commerce, our Horicon Chamber and the Mayville Chamber are kind of combined to be the Marsh Area Chamber of Commerce, and they have their golf outing on Tuesday, June 3rd. And you can see it on their website or any of their Facebook pages. And then there's the Marshman Open Golf Tournament in August, which I think will happen before the shows start back up again. So that will benefit the Marshman Foundation, and the Marshman Foundation's been amazing. I mean, they'll help anything to the kids playing the esports, to the kids doing the ice fishing, to anything to do with that school. So that's what it benefits that, and that's what's great. All these little things that can be offered to the students by the school district, the Marshman Foundation has changed that game in Horicon dramatically. So thank you to those guys too, and I hope people can get a chance to get to one of these or both of these golf outings.
Well, I know summer's a great time for golf. No, we've got our own golf outing coming up for the Radiothon here soon. I always recommend everybody get into as many of them as you can. You're going to be out playing golf anyways. You might as well do it for a good cause, right?
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. We are leading into summer. We know summer is always a busy time in cities. Lots of things going on, be it from recreational standpoints or just, giving the kids something to do so they're not, running the streets and being crazy. Although nowadays they're more likely to be inside on their iPads, I guess. But
unfortunately.
Why don't you run down some of the stuff that's going on?
Sure. Even though fall might be the time where most of the out-of-towners come to Horicon to look at birds, we want to highlight there are a lot of things that are going on in summer, so please come during the summer as well. So starting this Wednesday, the Horicon Farmers Market down at Kiwanis Park is starting.
Oh,
so
nice.
that's already starting this Wednesday, so in 2 days. And that's going to lead into our Wednesday night concert series at Kiwanis Park. The first band is June 4th. If you go to the Horicon Phoenix program or all over Facebook, you can get the schedule of bands that are coming. And selfishly, I want to highlight the band that's coming the last week in June. It's Crosstown Drive, which lead singer and guitar player is from Horicon. He graduated in class in 1991, and I would expect that crowd to be very large. So we got some really awesome bands coming for our concert series. And the good thing about these Wednesday night concert series is that you have different civic groups in our city that are the ones that are responsible for, say, the concessions on that night. And it's their turn to make money. So it'll be our fire department, our EMS, St. Stephen's, other groups, take turns, and they all make different food, so you don't know what you're getting when you go down there, which is pretty cool. Or you find out like 2 days before. But Horicon Phoenix set this up pretty well. I mean, they have their own civic projects that they work on, like the diaper bank and all these other things they do in fixing our parks and doing this, but they also support our other civic groups by hosting this and letting them do the concessions.
Very nice.
So Wednesdays in Horicon are the most fun in the county. There's no question. And at that same park, Kiwanis, you'll see here that we have the new pier. So a bunch of groups got together. So our president of the Horicon, or the Marshman Foundation, Jerry Trauber, the folks with the Lakes Mississippi Association, so our friends down in Hughesford,
Right.
They all love our Wednesday nights. But our pier situation for these pontoons that form a flotilla and come up to Horicon on Wednesday nights are kind of to anchor in that curve in the Rock River.
Right.
To sit out there while there's only one pier. So the first two that get there can get on the pier and go eat concessions while the other ones are floating out there. They really can't get up. So along with Oxbow Marina, so Chad and his wife and everybody there, we have this excellent brand new large L-shaped pier that comes off Kiwanis. You can use it for fishing or whatever else, but it's almost specifically designed to handle this flotilla of pontoons that come up from Lake Mississippi on Wednesday nights, so they too can disembark and enjoy our farmers market and our concert series.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, in the last few years, the generosity of our residents and our businesses, going back to the athletic field, has been crazy. You ask our people in our city, we need this, we need that, can you help? They help. And I grew up there. I've been there forever. 1974 is when I was born. I've never seen it like this. And that says a lot about our people, says a lot about our businesses, and it shows how much people care. So this has been an exciting time for us in town. Yeah, it's awesome.
That is an awesome partnership there. I like that a lot. And the way that it all ties together is amazing. So it really makes for, an exciting Wednesday night because, it's the middle of the week. What else are you going to do? Now you got something to fill up your time with there.
People look forward to Wednesdays in Horicon. The Phoenix program, and their executive director is actually an alderwoman, Christine Schmitz. They're fantastic.
And I only live up in Waupun. Horicon's not that far of a drive.
Especially if you go right through the Marsh.
Yep, there you go. Mother's Day.
Yeah, so Mother's Day weekend, our Horicon Historical Society will be hosting again their Horicon Historical Days down at Riverbend. You can either read the extraordinarily large sign they put in the middle of my yard or the sign that's down at Riverbend. It's also all over the internet, and they've been doing this for years. So it's kind of like one of those reenactments, but there's more than that. You can watch a young lady churn butter, which I got fascinated with last year because it just didn't make any sense how the science was, but it was neat to watch. And all these pies, they shoot cannons, they get, and they kind of block off. You can still get around Riverbend if you have a boat and you want to launch a boat and go fishing, but they kind of close Riverbend down, and they have all these like war reenactments, and you can see all these old military, vehicles and tents and all that stuff. I think it's cool.
Now, is this? I think I heard about this recently. Don't they have like a cast iron pan throwing competition or something?
And cast iron pie making contest, which I've gotten to judge multiple times. So that sounds like
cool. A fun thing to do.
Yeah, and it's a neat thing, and it shows kind of obviously old school Horicon. My favorite part is when they shoot the cannon, because I used to live right by Riverbend. I live literally on the opposite side of town. I can hear that thing like it's across the street from my house. So that's kind of neat, and I would recommend anyone who likes the old historical stuff to swing through Horicon at Riverbend Park. They're going to be there all weekend. I think the first day they open up for the school kids. School kids can walk all the way through without the hassle of other people. So it's a fun thing. And that's just another thing that we're doing here in town this summer. So we're pumped.
That's awesome. Next thing on the list is something I always get excited for in the summer. Love watching these games and getting a chance to stream some of them for Daily Dodge TV. Legion Baseball kicking off.
Legion Baseball is my favorite as well for many reasons. Horicon takes their Legion Baseball very seriously. Our Legion Posts, they donate to everything. They're kind of like our town heroes. The Legion Hall is where everybody has their stuff. You're having your party there. My kid's having his graduation party there. The Legion is Horicon, right. and it just is. And Legion Baseball is loved in Horicon. We had a fan, and I know Coach Strife is probably listening, even though they have a game, so maybe they're listening on the radio as they go down to Warner Park to play today, Horicon JV. But a fan donated all new uniforms to them, and we're upgrading the field there. Hopefully by the time Legion season starts, we might have our new press box that we're putting in and all these other things. So we're pretty excited. And what we're trying to do is get regionals or sectionals to be hosted in Horicon. So we're upgrading our facilities to be competitive to, host those regional and sectional Legion games. And for us, it's also fun because our conference for Legion baseball has teams like Waupun and Beaver Dam. And this is going to be the year where Horicon beats Beaver Dam and Waupun. So we're pretty excited.
You heard
about
it here
that.
first, folks.
That's right.
Put my money where my mouth is. Yeah, Legion's my favorite thing to do in the summer too. So I look forward to that a lot.
Well, nothing wrong with Legion baseball. It's just beautiful because sun's out. It's warm. Everybody's having a good time. Best time to have a hot dogs at Legion.
There's been
baseball
plenty of high school baseball games this year where it's been 40 cloudy with drizzle. Where we have our baseball team is undefeated in conference. They're like 8-0. But there's a lot of pitchers duels going on right now because nothing stings more than a fastball with a metal bat in 40-degree weather. So hopefully get that sun out and get those balls flying. I'm excited.
There you go. We talked about this a little bit, but the senior rec program for you guys is really kind of shaping up. And there's a calendar people can check out on the city website.
Yep, there's a calendar. I think it's July 28th or whatever the last Tuesday of July will be the day I go there. And I get peppered with questions for a few hours. I enjoyed it last year. I'm neither afraid nor not transparent enough to answer all the questions. And if I don't have an answer, I know who to ask. But the senior rec program, again, as Rich has said multiple times, will be different this year because it's being run, under the Y, under our city rec director. So it's going to have more of a structure than just winging it, and that should be great. And it's at the Jersey Street building down at Disher Park, so the pavilion down there. So we're pretty excited about that. And they like to do the programs with the kids that are all down there for the pool and stuff too. So it's exciting.
Awesome. I'm very excited to hear you talk about this next one because I'm a big fan of Mexican food, and I'm not afraid to travel for good Mexican.
Yeah, we passed the outdoor deck that's going to go, so you can sit on an outdoor deck and eventually eat some Mexican food in Horicon and watch our beautiful downtown traffic, even see City Hall. The view isn't the best, but it's still outdoor dining in downtown Horicon, which we've never had. I'm excited. I did talk to the building's owners, and they're really hoping to get it up by June 1st. It's all dependent on whether or not the state health inspector can fit them in on their time. Otherwise, everything that we needed to pass has passed at the city level as far as, some of the planning commission and setbacks and all the little nuts and bolts that you got to meet, with the city, but we're getting there. I can't wait for it to open too. It's going to be something good about being able to walk to a restaurant and waddle home. So I'm pumped.
Well, I'll keep my eyes open for the official open date on that because, like I said, I'll travel for really good Mexican food, and we'll give it a shot. I know we talked about this a little bit last time you guys were on. Summer employment opportunities is great for high school students who are looking to get some hours in, make some money. Looks
like we filled our employment quota for the time being, at least for the lawnmowers. But I'm under the understanding that we still need lifeguards and front desk folks at our pool. And you can find the job applications for that at the Dodge County YMCA website and stuff. We understand that you can make more money working in a factory over the summer and doing this or doing that, but this is still working at a pool, being outside, getting to hang out with your friends, and having a little bit of fun, but while still making money during the summer. And we'd love to have you if you are willing to work for the city. So we still need some help.
Yeah, I did a lifeguard one summer in Columbus, so I know it's a lot of fun, and you also get to use the pool. So hard to argue with that. Speaking of the pool, I see opening dates. I see May.
Yeah,
We're in May now. So what can you tell me?
So the pool is opening actually on June 7th.
Okay.
When I was on my way here this morning, I saw a big, giant blue hose sitting in the deep end of the Horicon pool. So I'm guessing they're starting to fill it. Doesn't fill up in an hour.
Right.
but they're starting to fill it so it can get to outside temperature by June 7th. And if you go to the website, you'll also see where they have the different sections of swimming lessons and all those other things. And, we'll keep an eye on the weather and all that stuff. So they're like every other year Horicon's had that pool. They've had a pool in Horicon since I was a little kid. We follow the inclement weather and all those other rules that you're used to. They're all the same. You may want to check out the website. I believe the hours, I think they're going to be shutting down an hour earlier this year. I can't remember the last time where we've had more than 7 people in the pool the last hour. And if we can save the money of paying for 8 kids hourly salary for 7 people to swim, we're going to close the pool an hour early. So that's the one thing I can tell you for sure is I'm pretty confident the pool is closing an hour early each day, which is fine. Nobody's there at that time anyways. So other than that, we're looking forward to the aquatic center opening, getting the pickleball court back up. We're doing a little warranty repair work on that, but the fences that separate the different courts, we're going to be soon resurfacing the basketball court down at District Park as well. So you'll have this beautiful aquatic center, these 4 beautiful pickleball courts, and a beautiful, almost full-size basketball court with a new surface. And, you got baskets on both ends, so you could actually do a real pickup game instead of just going outside the three-point line. And they're all right next to each other, right? And then right in the same small area, you're going to have the senior rec program. The bikes are already out this summer. I saw Eugene out there fixing them and checking the tires today. I don't have any news on the free kayaks. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not going to talk about it. That's a council thing anyways. So our parks are in full swing. Our older, so I'm saying not kids, those mowers are already out, taking care of the parks. Grass is coming up hard and fast everywhere. Beautiful right now. Pretty excited.
I see a note here about in June, you guys have the citywide garage sale.
Yep. So every year it's nothing formal, but the residents kind of get together and decide this is the weekend we're all doing. It's always been like the second weekend in June or the third.
I'm going to do a plug, shameless plug. Okay. The apples are having a rummage sale.
Okay.
And my wife is in the garage right now, probably listening to this, and she is putting things together. And we have some great stuff. If you want some tools that haven't really been used very much, the apples are the place to come get some tools.
Okay.
Because I'm not a guy that fixes stuff so well. So yeah, second week in June, we're going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that's right.
And any residents that are listening, hit up Alderwoman Marie Fensky. She likes this stuff more than everyone else. She'll have a better idea on what
date. It is her birthday today, so happy birthday, Marie.
Yeah, happy birthday, Marie.
I like it. I got a few minutes left on the show, not a huge amount of time left, but I did want to take some time just to remind everybody this is the last episode for the season. Hopefully have you guys back again in the fall. When I say you guys, of course, I mean not you, Rich, unfortunately. But we will have Katie Schwartz here with us. I guess I want to give you a moment to kind of have the airways. Obviously you're still going to be in the district and doing things, but I guess if you want to give us a show commencement speech, if you will.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not feeling, people ask me, you counting the days. I'm really not. It's been a great run. I'm still really close. I love my job, but boy, I'm looking forward to traveling with Tammy, and we got the Apple Olympics. We're very competitive. Okay. So we play dice, we play cribbage, we play pickleball, we ride our bikes, we go golfing. We fish, so starting up fishing coming up, and then we keep track of the number of fish we catch all year long. We're a very competitive couple, but that makes it kind of fun.
Right.
I'm 2-year reigning champion, but
who's counting though, right?
Yeah. Watch his phone text.
Yeah. So, but I appreciate the people in Horicon. I really appreciate the kids. I'm going to miss them the most because they keep me young. They keep me connected. They keep me. I have such faith in our future, where some people may think our kids are not are not doing the right things or they've changed. They're definitely different than when we were in school. But what a great group of caring individuals that I think our future is going to be in good hands, and they're going to take good care of us in retirement. So thanks everybody who's been a part of my journey, and I look forward to the next chapters.
There you go. And I will say, you obviously have some experience in the industry because the year you started teaching, I started kindergarten.
Oh,
So,
thanks for pointing that out.
yeah.
AJ. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. And who knows, maybe I'll come and do a program with you or something in the future too. I might have some time for that.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I guess, gentlemen, thanks again for being on. I look forward to spending some time in Horicon here this summer because it sounds like a lot of stuff going on, and I like to take the kids and do a little walking tour of the Marsh as well. There's a lot of great places there to check out. Haven't done the kayaks yet on the Marsh. That's the next thing.
Oh, it's a great time.
I think that'll be fun if I can keep the kids from rolling it. That's the goal.
It's not deep enough.
No, you don't think
They'll
so?
be fine.
All right, we'll see what happens. My kids are pretty good at pretty much ruining all that stuff. But anyways, this has been a paid program. The advice and opinions expressed on the program are solely that of the Horicon School District and the City of Horicon, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands.
The best place